Welcome to the Unchained TV podcast with me, your host, Jane Velez Mitchell. Now, a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to be a part of Liberty. This is a game changing film about an astounding artist. Gretchen Ryan's journey was shaped by a horrific car accident at the age of 16, which nearly took her life and left her paralyzed. Through this experience, she developed a deep understanding of resilience and compassion and embarked on a mission to use her astounding painting skills to inspire kindness to all beings. She has created Liberty Leading the Animals, an extraordinary painting, 6 years in the making, and the subject of a new film. And you can be a part of the Kickstarter campaign and have your name in the credits of this groundbreaking film. So now let's meet the artist herself, Gretchen Ryan. Oh my gosh, Gretchen, this painting is absolutely extraordinary. And I have to tell you that, geez, oh my gosh, 6 years in the making. What inspired this painting and how did the film become a part of it?
Well, I became vegan in 2001 and learned about how all the animals were treated. I watched a bunch of videos. I watched animal rights books. I read Animal Liberation, the Peter Singer book. And yeah, that's right,
Yes,
Animal Liberation.
Animal Liberation,
And I
yes.
read, Diet for a New America, watched Meet Your Meat, watched Earthlings, started meeting activists. And that Christmas, I'd asked for a book on the artist Eugène Delacroix for Christmas. It's actually this book. So here on the cover, I saw this famous painting that everybody probably recognizes. It's at the Louvre, and it's called Liberty Leading the People. And I said, I'm going to make a painting like this that's Liberty Leading the Animals. And that was in 2001. And I've been talking about it ever since. I wanted it to cover, my dogs are howling in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear, but they'll stop. But I wanted it, oh good. I wanted it to be really big as I could make it. I wanted it to be extremely beautiful. And I talked about it for years and years. I would tell people, I'm going to make this painting that's Liberty Leading the Animals. And it's going to have Liberty, the figure in the painting is what our Statue of Liberty is based off of. And it's an allegorical figure symbolizing freedom. Our statue commemorates our freedom from our own independence, as well as the liberation of slaves. And so it's a symbol that so many people know and see it. And I wanted to apply it to these oppressed creatures that we all care so much about. So I wanted it to be a symbol for the animal rights movement. When you saw it, you would know what it was about. My ambition for it has been so high. I wanted it to be everywhere and start a public, just raise awareness, but just be something that we could use as a banner for the animal rights movement.
So absolutely incredible. And I want to point out to folks, you are looking at the Kickstarter link. So you can copy that link and you can get involved. We are live because this is the last essentially 24 hours of the Kickstarter. For as little as $5 or $10 or $20, you can be a part of this film. It goes all the way up to $175, where you would get an actual limited edition poster. There's parties, there's a movie. We're going to learn all about that, but go to this Kickstarter and check it out and just get involved, be a part of history. So if you can do that, that would be great. They are so close to their goal. And to make this film happen and to document everything that Gretchen has gone through, they have to make that goal. So that's why we're live right now. And so anybody who has gone on there and donated and gotten one of the great prizes as a result of being a part of this film, definitely comment and let us know, because it's very exciting. You are going to be part of history. So, the trailer itself is absolutely extraordinary. And I want to play little clips of it so people can really get the depth and the breadth of this story.
It's crazy how fast your life can change. One day I was playing in a river, and the next day I was in ICU. Both my lungs collapsed, broken ribs, leg, pelvis, jaw, and I ruptured my liver and my pancreas, and I was so grateful that I survived. My name is Gretchen Ryan. I am a painter and have been an animal advocate since 2001.
Meeting Gretchen and knowing Gretchen now, it's been such a beautiful, amazing experience.
Her personality is what you see now, always so happy, loving, and kind, and thoughtful. Her artistic, creative side came out so early.
So tell us about the car accident. And, full disclosure, I asked first, I said before this started, I said, is it okay to talk? Tina says, wow, this is amazing. It is amazing. The painting is amazing. The film is amazing. Gretchen is amazing. But tell us about this catastrophic car accident and what happened and what happened afterwards and how you are so strong.
Thank you for saying that. We're stronger than we know, and we don't know until we're in a situation like this how strong we really can be and how resilient we are and what we would do. If somebody had told me this was going to happen to me before it happened, I would say, kill me now, because I can't possibly go through that. But I was 16 years old. I was a passenger in a Jeep that went off a mountain cliff in Colorado, where I'm from, lost control, and I had my best friend with me. I ended up in the hospital. I had multiple internal injuries and had a injury to my thoracic aorta, which is the main ventricle going into your heart. In the surgery to repair that, I ended up having paralysis from lack of blood supply to my spinal cord. So I have feeling but couldn't move, and I went from being a really tall, very athletic, very happy teenager to somebody who was paralyzed and learning to use a wheelchair. So I had to go through rehab and go back to high school as a person who couldn't walk.
Wow.
But yeah, it was quite terrible.
Wow, they're so inspired by your story, many hearts, because courage comes in a lot of different forms. And there are people who have experienced lesser traumas than that are devastated and don't go on to accomplish what you've accomplished. So let's move forward then to how when did you get the strength? When did you say, I will carry on? And then we're going to talk about your painting career. But what was that moment where you said, I'm not going to let this get me down? Because I think people are fascinated by that. We all have our private traumas. Some of them are less visible, but still, I think a lot of people would seek guidance from that. What was that moment?
I learned to take it moment by moment while being in the hospital, because thinking about the future felt so impossible and tragic. And I went to rehab. There were people in the rehab who were, Jane, so much worse off than me. So I am paraplegic. I have a very low spinal cord injury. And there were people who couldn't move from their neck down. There were people who couldn't breathe on their own. There were people who had such a traumatic brain injury that their personality had completely changed. I was in a position of being able to help other people. I had made a lot of other young people, friends with other young people, and I could be the one to help them while I was in this rehab. So even from the beginning, I could see there were other people that had it so much worse than me. And I met other people who were living healthy lives decades out in wheelchairs, and some people that I thought were cool and I looked up to. And so that set me on the right path then I also had a very loving family and friends around me who never left me out of the party from day one. I came home from rehab and they took me out. I never got left out. If there was stairs, was, well, how are we going to get Gretchen up there? Not, Gretchen's not going to come. I had really, really, really sweet friends, and my parents were the same way. So that was a huge blessing. And supporting people, supporting one another when we go through something like this is everything, you know? So I wanted to be a painter, and I said, I always wanted to be a painter before I got hurt. So I was glad I didn't want to be a dancer. Although, you know, there's people that figure out how to do that beautifully, of course. But somebody gave me a book on Frida Kahlo also. And she was a painter who used a wheelchair a lot of her life. And I saw how she expressed her story, and through her trauma made beautiful art that reached through generations, you know, to inspire me in my heart and my mind. And so I just saw possibilities right away, but it was also a lot of grief and a lot of sadness, you know, but a lot of smiles too.
Wow. What an amazing story, and so inspiring. Let transition to when you discovered that part of your mission was to advocate for animals. And, you know, I know you from the slaughterhouse vigils. That's where we have met, you going to bear witness to animals who are going into slaughter. And you were one of the most consistent people doing that. So that is very difficult and requires courage in itself. So applaud you for that. Let's go to the trailer. And this is the part where it talks about your love for animals.
Liberty Leading the Animals is a painting I've been working on. It's 13 feet wide and has over 150 animals in it. It's so big. I had the idea actually back in 2001. I watched a movie called Earthlings. I watched a video called Meet Your Meat. I was heartbroken, and I decided not to buy or use anything that involved animal products or bodies of any kind. Ooh, that's a massage.
Since I was a kid, I always believed that art could change people. And I think that Gretchen is taking that responsibility to make beautiful things, to make things that have meaning, that have depth.
It's so great. It feels so cool being up this high.
That wheelchair was not going to slow her down.
Wow. And that's your mom. What an extraordinary story. So, yes, how did you develop your compassion for animals and then translate it into your art?
I always loved animals, and I always had such a tender heart for animals. But if I wasn't an artist, I wanted to do something with animals, be a vet or something. And so that was very natural, but I wasn't vegetarian and hated the thought of animals being killed, but I didn't know what to eat. And I had a few people that I knew growing up who were vegan, who were extraordinarily healthy. So that planted a seed that it was a good thing to do, and it was a possible thing to do. I just didn't know how I could do it. And I wanted to volunteer with animals when I moved to Los Angeles in 2020. I got my first dog that year, and I saw how emotional and sensitive he was, and saw vegetarian friends. And I said, well, if they are fine and not killing animals, I can't justify killing an animal, because obviously they're so alive and special and full of love and joy and capable of suffering. So I went vegetarian, but then I went to World Fest, which was it was, if not the first year, but one of the first years of World Fest, which is a big outdoor environmental and animal rights festival. I picked up a CD called Veganism in a Nutshell by Bruce Friedrich, which is such an amazing talk. And I put it in my car stereo with my boyfriend at the time. By the time we pulled into our driveway, it talked about how being vegan helps your health, the environment, and the animals. And I looked at him and I said, I want to be vegan. And he said, me too. And I've been vegan ever since. So Yeah, that
Can I ask you
started
a
it,
quick
but then I
question?
just
Do you
Mhm.
think that being vegan has helped you navigate your disability?
Yes. And that's something that we want to reach out to and stress around the film as well, talking to other people who have compromised bodies in so many ways, but I've been in a wheelchair since 1992,
Wow.
and I have great blood pressure. I don't have diabetes, or most people after a period of time in a wheelchair get diabetes, have
Hmm.
we're just a lot more vulnerable to diabetes specifically, but other heart conditions, osteoporosis, and everything. And I feel that the plant-based diet has been a huge protection from me. Honestly, I would be doing it whether it was better for me or not.
Hmm.
But the great thing it is better for me. And I really into finding the best way to eat and eating lots of fresh foods and juices, seeds, sprouts, and fresh plants. So I think that's helped me so much to stay really thin, which I want to stay smaller just because I'm using my arms for everything, and that's not the way your body's designed. And to keep the inflammation down in my joints, and yeah, it's a huge obstacle having to sit all the time, and I hate it when they say, "Oh, it's the new smoking is sitting," and I'm always sitting, but I can swim a little bit and I get out of my chair as much as I can. But the vegan diet has been a huge cheat in a way. It's just it makes it so much easier to be healthy.
Wow. Well, that is this is so much inspiration. I'm just absolutely blown away. So the whole point of this discussion is to get people to support your Kickstarter. And the Kickstarter is for the film Liberty. And so please go to this bit.ly link and we will flash it over and over again. It's also here. You can just copy that and go there. And it's $5, $10, $20. It goes up and up. The top amount that I saw was $175 for a limited edition print, but you can get your name on the credits of this film. And this is a really extraordinary film. So you're part of history. It's absolutely a unique opportunity to also let Gretchen tell her story to millions of other people and inspire them. And it is an inspiring story. I know that we do a lot of content about animal rights, and a lot of it is very gruesome because what's happening to the animals is very gruesome. But this story, while it addresses that subject, is not gruesome. It is truly uplifting, beautifully shot, directed by James Hoot. And here's another clip.
I've been working on this painting for 6 years, and it's finally time to share it with the world.
So beautiful. It's like making me tear up. It's so beautiful.
It's crazy. It's Gretchen's heaven.
It's really powerful, Gretchen. It's really, really powerful.
When people see this painting, I want them to feel what freedom can look like for everyone.
So once again, go to this bit.ly right here. You can just copy it. It's a very short URL. Or once again, we also have it here as a link, and be a part of history. And I certainly am doing this. I am very excited to be a part in any way I can of this film. And, films are a collaborative process. It's not like writing a novel. You write a novel yourself. Films, it's people coming together to make a film happen. So consider yourself a producer-ish if you donate to this Kickstarter. They're so close. They have a matching fund. Tell us about the Kickstarter.
Yes, and actually you can be an executive producer on the film, and I think most donations get a name in the credits. So we're so grateful for everyone who has contributed and become part of it. The Kickstarter ends in a couple of days. There's prints of a few different levels. There's posters, and then there's prints, and then there's limited edition signed prints. So a couple of levels of quality of the prints. And I think at $2,500 donation, I will make a painting for you of your favorite animal. So an original painting by me would be a thank you for that. So I can't remember what all of them are, but do you want me to tell you about the filmmaker?
Yes.
So I met actually a gentleman who produced a series called Planet Vegan, and he put me in touch with James Hoot, who's the filmmaker. And so James lives in Bali and came over here in November to film for a week. So that's when we shot the trailer. And I think they did such a beautiful job of it. But I always wanted a documentary about the painting because only so many people can see the painting. I would love the painting to live in a public venue. I would love for it to be on display where everybody can see it eventually. But I don't know the fate of the painting. I always did want a film, and I started time-lapsing, got a little bit of footage in the beginning, but I didn't know who would make the film or anything. But this amazing man, Daniel, that I met at another event, I told him about the painting I was working on. He said, this should be a film, and I know the filmmaker to do it. And he put me in touch with James, and they have been an amazing team, and they've helped me so much. And James has a film production company called Fauna Films. That's a 501c3, so the contributions are tax deductible as well.
Wow. And just looking at some of these images, now we're not giving away the entire painting. We're showing you little bits and pieces because it hasn't been unveiled. Tell us about the unveiling that's planned.
Okay, and so the things that you're seeing right now, they are little pieces of the painting. There's over 150 animals in it. And these are all from last November. I've been working so hard on it. So everything is so much farther along than what you're seeing right now. The unveiling will be, James' idea about the film is that you don't see it. It's a short documentary, or a documentary short, and you don't see the film. I'm sorry, you don't see the painting in the documentary until the end. So we're filming the final scene, which everybody can come to also it will be at the LAX Marriott. We're setting it up a bit like an art space and inviting people on May 16th at 8 p.m. And we're going to be filming the final scene then. So we'll be showing it publicly to people for the first time. And James will have a few camera people just to capture people's reactions and discussion and what it brings up for people. And then that will all be edited together to be the end of the movie.
And the movie is called Liberty. It's absolutely extraordinary. The story of Gretchen Ryan, who has turned adversity into her strength. Yes, she was in a terrible car accident at the age of 16. It left her paralyzed, but she is moving and doing so much to help the animals. And she has spent 6 years working on this film. It's truly extraordinary. 150 animals approximately featured, and we can't see the entire film yet, the entire painting yet, because the finale, when it's going to be unveiled May 16th at the Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit in Los Angeles, and I believe that's at the Marriott LAX, but you can be a part of it. You can have your name in the credits. You can have, it's a whole gamut of ways you can involve. You can give $5, you can give $10, you can give $20, you can give $75, $175. Goes all the way up to $2,500, where you would get your own painting. And everybody is just so inspired by your story. I think it gives people strength, because we all have traumas and sometimes we want to give up. And the point is not giving up and powering through. And, you know, as they say, happiness is an inside job. One of the things I want to ask you about, and I wasn't able to include all of these images of you tooling around in motorcycles and all sorts of very interesting, almost like outdoorsy, athletic adventures. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So when I grew up in Colorado hiking, and after the accident, my mobility, obviously, I couldn't get on trails. Currently today, I have an amazing new wheelchair that it's called Omeo, and I've had that for 6 years, and I can get on a lot of trails and things with that. But when I first was hurt, I didn't have that. And when I was in rehab, a man pulled up in front of the hotel hospital, and I was sitting there. I was yellow with jaundice. I weighed less than 100 pounds. My hair was falling out. I was so ill. As I had so much internal injuries and broken things, and it was just such a difficult time. This man, a paraplegic, pulls up in front of the hospital on a Harley Davidson, a Softail Heritage Classic with a sidecar, and he looks at me and he says, "You look like you need a ride." And he helped me, I think the staff, I don't remember, helped me get into this sidecar, and he drove me around the block, and it was so fun. Well, I stayed in touch with that guy, and I ended up buying that motorcycle from him when I was 19. So my parents didn't like it, but they let me do it. I think we all felt like I'd been through so much. I wasn't going to have to do another bad thing, at least not right away. So I drove that motorcycle. I had Harley friends. I was friends with this beautiful lady named Tina, who'd been a Playboy bunny in New York. And I was like, we would drive around on our bikes. I was so young, it wasn't like we got into big trouble or whatever, but it was just freedom. I had been confined and I could go play. So that was amazing, having this motorcycle and driving it. And I put my whole wheelchair in the sidecar. I painted it red after a while. I had platinum blonde hair, and it was healing. Yeah. Then the mountain bikes that you see. So I was the first female off-road wheelchair racer in the world. I got a call one day from these people who'd used mountain bike parts and put together a mountain bike that you could sit on. And it didn't go uphill very easily. It didn't have gears. You couldn't pedal it. You could only push, but it went downhill. It was for going downhill. So I raced in Norba mountain bike events. It's the big adrenaline junkie, mostly guys in motorcycle gear riding mountain bikes down the ski lifts. And I competed in these in my chair. They just called me and said, "We built this chair. We need a girl. Would you race it?" And I said, "Sure." Before I got hurt, I was quite physically timid. And after the accident, I just realized life is so short. And I just said yes. I just started saying yes to things that came along, because live, while you're here in this body, live. That was what I felt. So I did this racing in Japan, in California, in Utah, in Colorado. I did it for 4 years and had a great time. And yeah, so that's the story of that. I pioneered a sport, Jane.
Wow, amazing. Now, let me ask you, how did you become so good at painting? Because your painting is truly extraordinary. Really, really world-class. How did that happen?
I always loved painting, and I started learning oil painting a little bit when I was in high school. Then I got an art degree at the University of Colorado at Boulder, a fine art degree. But I came out of that school feeling I didn't have anywhere near the technical skills that I wanted. So I went to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And that was a very rigorous program. And I studied illustration so that I could learn the technical skills of painting. And I really love representational art. So I got a lot better doing that. And then I just kept painting and painting and painting and painting. I paint almost every day. I paint large chunks of the day And when you love something enough to do it that much, you just get better and better at it. I ended up teaching for 3 years there at Art Center. And even in teaching, I became better at painting. I co-taught with one of my elderly teachers at first, and then I taught my own classes. But through doing that, I feel like I got even better. I still teach privately a little bit. I don't, yeah, I'm not teaching at the college anymore, but after COVID, it was so much online. I just stopped doing that. But yeah, so thank you so much. I've worked very hard to get to this, to have the ability that I do.
So as we wrap up, what is it that's next? I know it's probably silly to ask because you're still working on the painting, and that's a huge accomplishment. A ginormous painting, extraordinary, and a film made about the painting. But you seem to take many, many challenges on at once. So is there anything that you plan to do after this?
First, I want to make a website about the painting and get the film all finished. And I'd like to do a lot around the painting where you can go to the website and learn about all the different animals, because there's chickens and pigs and cows and sheep and turkeys and horses and minks and monkeys and so many different species in the painting. And I want there a place where you can go and learn about all those different animals. So things around this painting first, and working on where is this painting going to go and that sort of thing. But
where
then
is it going to go?
I don't know. So I'm hopefully expecting that a lot of ideas are generated from this, from showing it and and putting the film together. You know, the painting will be for sale, but I would like to be able to have it go to exhibitions, if I can get it into exhibitions where there's maybe other work about the environment, you know, and the painting could travel where people could see it, and in the context of making the world a better place, or in the context of freedom for everybody and civil, you know, rights for everybody, and helping those who are oppressed. So I have ideas, but I don't know exactly what's going to happen to it. And then I also want to just keep painting. I feel like while I've been working on this, I've gotten so much better at painting, and I'm excited to do smaller, faster things and see where it goes. But I was saying to my husband the other day, I'm not sure what I'm going to paint next, and he said, he said, God just told me you have to finish this one, then he'll give you the next idea. And I said, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself. Right. Yeah. Well, I know that you are a gift to the animals. Like I said, I first met you at the Slaughterhouse Vigils, which here in Los Angeles and all over the world, as part of the SAVE movement, people gather at slaughterhouses, and we bear witness to the animals going in and give them love and comfort in their last moments. It's gut-wrenching when they look at you, and they're mostly babies. Like pigs are killed at 6 months approximately, and they're looking in your eyes, and they're thirsty and they're terrified, and it's soul crushing. But there's also, a sense of, at least they got a tender touch. They got a little water. Somebody said, I love you. What did that do for you? The Slaughterhouse Vigils, Gretchen?
Well, I was happy to share the footage of doing that, because it's just so sad. I understand the reality of it. I've seen so many videos, and thankfully we have this short form that just quickly shows people this is what's happening to animals. You can see it in a heartbeat. You don't have to watch a whole movie. And now you can just, you see clips, but the pigs suffer so much. So I think to me, that's the most valuable part, is sharing it with others, but also, of course, communicating with these creatures to the best of our ability. give them some kindness or love, or see if they I'm sure I hope their spirits feel it, but at least, yeah. I volunteered a lot at the sanctuary, at Farm Sanctuary before it was Farm Sanctuary. I did that for years and gave tours and had good relationships with all of those animals. And I say to people, it's just, if it was all dogs or all cats, it would be the same, It's just needless, tragic. So it's so brutal what those slaughterhouses, they're so unfeeling. There's no, they're scared. They're not stupid. They cry, they know what's happening, and they smell it and feel it. And yeah, so I know you have such a huge heart for it, Jane. It's so inspiring. I know at every opportunity you help. So I admire that so much.
Well, you are inspiring me, and we are so excited about this film, Liberty. As we wrap up, I just want to play the first clip for those who joined us a little bit late, because it kind of tells the story. And it's a film called Liberty.
It's crazy how fast your life can change. One day I was playing in a river, and the next day I was in ICU. Both my lungs collapsed, broken ribs, leg, pelvis, jaw, and I ruptured my liver and my pancreas, and I was so grateful that I survived. My name is Gretchen Ryan. I am a painter and have been an animal advocate since 2001.
Meeting Gretchen and knowing Gretchen now, it's been such a beautiful, amazing experience.
Her personality is what you see now, always so happy, loving, and kind, and thoughtful. Her artistic, creative side came out so early.
And I am looking at the Kickstarter. We're going to put it up here. The Kickstarter, bit.ly/Liberty Kickstarter 2025. And I have to tell you, it's so exciting because you can be a part of this film, this groundbreaking film. You can have your name in the credits, and there's all sorts of levels. I mean, literally goes from 5 to 10 to 15 to 25 to 75, 250, which offers you a collector's liberation print, a signed museum quality matted print, $500, one print for you two to share, all the way up to $2,500. Then $5,000 makes you an executive producer of this film. So, that's so important. And really, that's very little to become an executive producer. There are people who pay millions of dollars to have their name listed as an executive producer. So I just hope that all of you check it out. It's a Kickstarter, and it's a Kickstarter for this incredible film, Liberty. And once again, I'm going to put this bit.ly up so you can write it down, go there, and get involved, because it's a joyous thing to be involved with a creative project of this level. This is a very high level. The editing is incredible. The painting itself is incredible. And the star is incredible. So I certainly hope that you support this film and do it right away, because the Kickstarter is ending within a day. So we got to do it very quickly. I'm going to do it the second I get off. I'm going to get involved. I always like to see my name on the credits, and I hope you do. Thank you so very much, Gretchen. You are a true inspiration.
Thank you, Jane, so much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for everyone watching and caring about the animals. And thank you. I really appreciate it so much, Jane.
I appreciate you. See you next time.